Okay, come on. Hey, hi everybody. This is Royce and our podcast, Royce in the House. And this is a vinyl unboxing podcast tonight. And I've got my co-hosts here, Jeff Davidson and Scott Harris, who you all know. And we're looking forward to a fun show about Alice Cooper tonight. And I think it's going to be pretty amazing. So let me see here. Before we get started, I have to do this, okay? Let me see if this is the best. Okay, I like that better. Okay, I have to do this, okay? We had a we had a podcast last week that had to do with songs that were inspired by war, and I really enjoyed doing that one. And we tried to keep it really fair and balanced because I didn't want any attacks on our servicemen and women. I had nothing but respect for them. And I know there were some wars, you know, like the Vietnam War, where some things got kind of ugly there. Hey, Caitlin, how you doing, Kate? It's good to see you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, I tell you, so we did that podcast about songs that were inspired by war. And now we're in the middle of that very war that I was thinking about when I made that. But what I want to do is I want to give a shout out to President Zelensky of the Ukraine. I mean, that man, I mean, you talk about a wartime president. We offered him, you know, like safe passage, get him out of the Ukraine. And he says, I need ammunition, not a ride, you know. And I mean, that's been played over and over again. And I just got so much respect for him for saying that. And, you know, you see that the women and children are, you know, trying to get to Poland, and it's kind of a tough thing, but they're getting there. It's taken a long time. But the men from the age of 18 to 60 are staying behind to fight for their country. And I mean, that's just a really heartwarming story to me, you know, staying behind. I mean, it'd be easy to get out and come back when it's all over with. Who knows what you're going to come back to. But I've been really impressed with how the Ukraine has held its ground, you know, against what's supposed to be what's supposed to be maybe the biggest army in the entire world and one of the best. And I hear they're having supply problems. They don't have enough food. They don't have fuel to keep their Russia doesn't have fuel to keep their vehicles running. They don't have enough food. And I don't know what's going on there. It sounds like their generals have really screwed this whole thing up. But anyway, so I just want to, my heart goes out to the Ukrainian people tonight, you know, and I hope that something happens, you know, where they, you know, whether it's Putin changes his mind, his economy is going to get ruined now, and that's going to make a lot of people very unhappy. It could possibly make him very unpopular, you know. And like I said, I just total respect for the Ukrainian people, and I just wanted to throw that out there. So, how is everybody tonight?
Good. Doing good.
Good. So we're going to talk about Alice Cooper, and it's a pretty wild story too. You know, he was. I have a few albums, but the album unboxing is kind of. Let's see. Hi, Captain Pink Sock.
Thank you. That's my superhero name. I protect Pink Socks by night, and I'm a podcaster by day.
Pink Sock by night.
Yeah,
I don't even want to know the details on that.
Put a little bit of ointment on it, and it won't be a pink sock no more. What were we talking about, Alice Cooper?
Yeah, we're just getting ready to get into Alice Cooper. I was just giving my kudos to the Ukrainian leader, you know, for some of the thing, for the way he's rallied his country, you know.
I'm going to join the crew here.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to join the crew with my sunglasses on.
Good idea. As bloodshot as my eyes are, I should do the same thing. And I take these eye drops for my glaucoma, and my eyes just looks bloodshot all the time. So I wind up putting something to make them white after I take my drops to make them better. But anyway,
hey, weed's legal now. You don't need an excuse.
Right.
No, I hear you. We do have a few gummies lying around and stuff, edibles, but
way to go.
Right here in this drawer. But anyway, so Alice Cooper, born Vincent Damon Furnier in Detroit, Michigan, the son of a minister. Can you believe that? I mean, this, you know, you can't make some of this stuff up, really. Moved to Phoenix, Arizona at a young age, still lives in the state today. At 17, he formed a rock band. let's see, what was that called? Oh, the Earwigs. That's a great name, the Earwigs. Then they changed it to the Spiders, another great name. Then finally to Nazz, 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 before finally settling on Alice Cooper. And the lineup included himself and some other people that I really don't know their names. But
come on, man, be more prepared than that.
They picked the name not because of an Ouija board gave them the name, like has been, rumored, but they picked the name because they thought, nor was the name picked for a woman who was burned at the stake for witchcraft. Those are good stories, though. It was picked because the random name had a twisted sense of originality and misleading innocence, complementing the band's bizarre and macabre state theatrics and lyrical themes. Anybody want to add anything to that, or?
I can give you some of the members of the Alice Cooper group.
The original?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
There's Vincent Furnier. You guys can jump in because I might draw a blank. There's Vincent Furnier. There's Dennis Dunaway, Neil Smith.
Just Dunaway, yeah.
Shit.
Michael
Glenn
Bruce.
Buxton.
Michael Bruce.
Michael
Yeah,
Bruce.
okay.
Glenn
Right.
Buxton.
And yeah.
And I had those. I'm glad you guys read them off because I think it's important. Well, the band got its first big break playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go, Los Angeles. I think that's where the Doors might have got discovered too. But they got their big break there in 1969 when Frank Zappa discovered them and signed them to his record label. How cool is that?
Have you heard the story about that?
No, go ahead.
Alice was told, the whole band was told to show up at 7 for rehearsal with Frank to see if they got the label signing. Well,
Okay.
Alice showed up, got ready, started playing. Frank Zappa woke up and was like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And they're like, "You said 7." He said PM, not AM.
Oh, shit. You're kidding me. Is that a real story?
Yeah. And then Frank told him, he's like, "I don't
Wow.
understand it. I don't like it, but you're signed." Yeah,
Well,
that
after two albums with Frank, they moved to Detroit and were signed by Warner Brothers and hooked up with famous producer Robert Isran. Yeah. Came out with their third album, The Breakthrough, Love It to Death, in 1971. And then several albums followed, including Killer. And since we're on the subject of Killer, I'll go ahead and it's one of the Alice Cooper albums that I do have. It's Killer.
great album.
Yeah, it's a great album. And this is the first Alice Cooper album I ever heard. My friend Terry Gemmel, who was the best man at my wedding years ago, and we're still in contact today. Him and his younger brother Lenny, they had this album. I came over and they couldn't have been more excited about it, and they played it for me. And that's when I discovered Alice Cooper. Although I do remember having heard some of his songs on the radio and things like that. But it wasn't until I heard the album that I did become a fan of Alice Cooper. Yeah, and this is a great album. And you know what? It's not only is it a great album, it's never been opened before. And like I said, the focus tonight is not unboxing. I'm trying to do a lot of different things, but you know what? I discovered that I thought I'd shown this before. I have had it for a little while.
Wasn't that the album when it first came out? It came with a calendar.
It came with a calendar. Now I don't remember that.
Yeah, I believe when it was released, 1970? What was it, 3? When it first came out, the album had a calendar of that year with Alice hanging on a noose on the whole calendar.
Oh wow, no kidding. So it is a gatefold. Not much on this side, blank purple, but it does have some. It looks like it might have
where the calendar was.
Huh?
What?
That's probably where the calendar was.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe it is. Yeah. Okay. Well, we might as well take a peek at it. I've come this far. Brand new. Not much to say. It's a brand new album. A brand new album, perfect condition. And I might as well look to see if there's a couple of songs that we recognize here. And
Under
You
My
Drive Me Nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a Beatles song. Dead Babies. That sounds like an Alice song. And Killer. And then we've got Under My Wheels, Be My Lover, Halo of Flies. Everybody needs a Halo of Flies, and Desperado. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and put that away now, and we'll pull a few more of these out as we go along. And so that was my kind of introduction to Alice Cooper, and that was okay. And then of course afterwards it was the highly successful School's Out, $1 Billion Babies, Muscle of Love. The band made an appearance in the movie Diary of a Mad Housewife in 1970, and their own theatrically released documentary, Good to See You Again, Alice Cooper, 1974. Alice himself also starred in an episode of the Snoop Sisters, The Female Instinct, in 1972. Well, I did mention School's Out, so I gotta since I have School's Out, I have to pull this stuff out as we come to it, you know. Here is School's Out. Alice Cooper. Yeah.
What I loved about that album is that it folded out into a school desk. That was really cool.
Well, oh, okay.
The original pressing had legs that came down in the back, and it turned into a school desk, and you open it up.
Oh, I heard about that. Now wait a minute.
Well,
I didn't just hear about it. I have it. Yeah. I have the school desk, you know. It kind of blew my mind when I first opened it because I never owned this album before. But yeah, it's got all this crazy stuff. You already know what to do with it.
That's the one thing Alice was really good with, was innovating different ways to print an album, and stuff.
I don't think I'll really pull this out because this thing's all gotta, you pop it loose, and it like you said, it's a school day. You got School's Out, Alma Mater, Blue Turk, Grand Finale, Gutter Cat versus the Jets, Looney Tune, My Stars, and Public Animal. And I have the desk version. Okay. All right. Hey, let's take a look here. We got a bunch of people showing up. We've got Rachel's Music Ma'am. That's awesome. Yeah, Rachel's Music Ma'am. And how you doing, Rachel? If you go to the top there's a well, you know what? I'll just put it on again here.
Did School's Out come with the panties? Which one had the panties?
No, it's not School's Out. It's not.
That was Muscle of Love.
It's let me see.
Yeah. Muscle of
No,
Love.
it might be the greatest hits. Might be the greatest hits, guys. No, I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure it was Muscle of Love.
You think so?
Uh-huh.
Well, this cover is so.
I was thinking it was School's Out.
No, it's not in this cover. I do have it though. I do have it here somewhere.
Oh yeah, it was School's Out that was the panties. The reason why I'm thinking of Muscle of Love is because the obvious reference.
Hey, Rachie, how you doing?
I'm very well. School's Out had the panties, and they came either powder blue or pink. You had a couple of choices. Made of paper. The record was actually in the panties, and the calendar Killer came out in 71, late 71, and as you saw with your copy there, it had the calendar. I've heard the reissue on Killer is not good. In fact, it was Frank over at 33 and a Third who was saying it. He was not happy with it. Society. Not all cases are reissues are created equal. Some are better. Some are worse.
Yeah. Well, I saw those panties in here earlier, and now I can't find them.
Yeah, okay. Originally the record that they didn't even have an inner sleeve. Like the panties, the record was in the inner sleeve. It was on.
And I remember, you showed up and we did that shock rock. And I had, Alice Cooper was like, the godfather of shock rock. But
yeah.
And I was trying to put an album in and it wasn't going in. And I go, what the hell's going on here? And I look in there, and it was the one with the panties. I didn't even know I had it.
And Cap was right, because Cooper, they always had these great gimmicks with the panties, and then they had the big dollar bill, $1 billion bill with $1 billion babies, and
$1 billion baby.
Yeah, and it was shaped like a big wallet and stuff. That was
Right.
the first one I bought. My kid brother bought Killer and Schools Out, so they were in there. And I remember watching Alice Cooper on TV. The news reports were doing like, "Oh, this guy's bad," and I'm like 13, kind of going, "Oh shit, this looks serious." This guy here, But but we loved him. Alice Cooper, boy. He was a very, very cool guy. And I always preferred the band Alice to the solo Alice. Despite that, I've got a couple of Alice solo, when he broke up from the band and said his old Detroit buddies packing, and he branched out on his own.
Well, I'm excited because I've never seen him in concert, but I have a ticket now. He'll be playing at the Vina Robles Amphitheater, 10, 12 miles up the road in Paso Robles, California. And I have a ticket.
Go.
I'm really excited about it. I should have bought one when I first saw him for sale, because I wound up spending like twice as much.
Yeah, he's still fantastic.
It looks like a pretty good seat. It looks like I'll be right over there and kind of in front of Ryan Roxy on his side, his right, my left. Down front, there's a section, then I'm in the section behind that section. But it's a small venue. The last time we were there, we saw Bryan Adams, and we were in the grass up above. There's a section that's just called the grass area. That you bring your own.
Fantastic. I saw Bryan Adams. He played my high school, because he was Sweeney Todd was a local band in my area. I'm up in Canada on Vancouver Island. So Sweeney Todd kind of came out of Vancouver with Nick Gilder as an English guy, and then he left the band. He got really big. He got a solo album called Hot Child in the City, and Hot Child. We had a couple of hits. One with Sweeney Todd, one on his solo. He was on Dick Clark, which was amazing on Bandstand. I'm sitting Saturday morning, I'm watching American Bandstand. I go, holy crap!
Oh yeah, we all did that. Yeah,
because he played my school, and Sweeney Todd would do the British Columbia circuit, and then Bryan Adams took over for Nick Gilder. He became the lead vocalist for Sweeney Todd, but he couldn't hit the high notes. So Bryan Adams comes in my high school. I'm like 17, going, this guy sucks. He can't hit the high notes like Nick, because Nick Gilder had a really high tenor, that he would be able to do. And so I was very wrong about Bryan Adams, but I mean, he did so in terms of trying to capture or sound like Nick Gilder. He couldn't reach the notes. But Brian ended up becoming super bigger than Nick Gilder ever was. And now I think it was
a good concert. We saw him up there. The Beach Boys were up there a couple of months ago. What's left of them. I decided not to go. But this is
Beach Boys before Royce.
No, I haven't seen them.
I saw them twice. I saw them indoor at what used to be the Memorial Arena, and Dennis Wilson was there. I saw him in 82 or so, and he died like the following, like around Christmas time or January. So I just got in there, but he was a mess. He was an embarrassment.
Wow.
Like he was so wasted. Like, and he's rock and roll, and it was just like, my God, this guy's an old drunk, and the kids didn't think it was cool. Nobody thought it was cool, but the band was hot. They had a backup drummer with them, so Dennis could be hammered and non-functional, but they had a session guy, and he carried it just fine. And then I saw them about 3 years after that at an outdoor venue, and they were okay, but they were on that night. Despite Dennis, the band itself was cooking, and of course Carl was alive. I saw Carl twice, and of course so many of them are gone now, unfortunately. The Beach Boys, but when they were good, they were really good.
So does John Stamos still play for them? Because John Stamos was their drummer there for a while.
He was a drummer, but I don't think he's currently with them. But it's one of the, he's still friends with them, so I think he could pop in if they ever required him to do it.
I would love to see them cover the Full House theme song.
But you mentioned Brian Adams coming to your school. You know who came to my school in Las Vegas? My high school. It was
anybody. It could have been anybody.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, Sammy. We got Sammy.
There was a school teacher that had been a lifelong friend of his. So he came in and he did a concert in the auditorium, the lunch.
I love that bit in Spinal Tap where you've got, I forget, Bruno Kirby. He's like driving the limo and he goes, have you guys read Yes, I Can by Sammy Davis? And the guy in the back goes, the band just kind of rolls up the window. They don't want to hear him. And he's going, oh, he's kind of embarrassed. And they've got Carl Reiner's son, Rob Reiner. He's the director doing the documentary ostensibly for this thing. He goes, oh, well, I don't know. And he goes, they just don't get Sammy. A lot of people don't get Sammy.
No, I tell you, growing up in Vegas, I felt like I grew up with the Rat Pack. Back when Dean Martin had his show at night. It was the only show where they actually drank real liquor during the show.
He's my favorite of the Rat Pack. He'd tell jokes. My favorite. You seem like the nicest one of them. You seem like a really nice guy.
Yeah. And they made some fun movies to watch too,
Robin and the Seven Heads. And was there one, Divorce American Style? I remember watching that as a kid because Dean Martin was the swinging bachelor guy, and Frank's married to Deborah Carr or something in this movie. And then they switch places. So then Dino gets labored down with the wife and kids. And he's all bummed out and he loses his energy and his mojo. Meanwhile, Frank's now he's out of the marriage. So he's like happy bachelor taking over Dean's place, got girls all over it. It was very funny. It was a really cute little show,
cool.
Like they did in the 60s, right?
Right. Okay. Well, so like Alice Cooper, the original band broke up in 1975, and the lead singer, Alice Cooper, actually changed his name legally to Alice Cooper and performed with Alice Cooper with that name ever since. They did release 27 albums. The other members formed another band called the Billion Dollar Babies. They named their band the Billion Dollar Babies, and the same year saw the release of Alice's greatest hits album. As a solo artist, he completed Welcome to My Nightmare. So I have to stop right there because I have Alice's greatest hits album. So
yeah, it's a good album.
Yeah, I'll be running out of albums soon here. And if nobody else has any to show, it's not a big thing. But we're kind of, like I said, we're kind of searching out new avenues, trying to do a little less unboxing. I've done a Muhammad Ali show. I've done the one on war songs last week because of what was going on in the Ukraine. Well, this one has on 18, the biggest seller, the biggest hit of all for Alice Cooper was I'm 18. And that's here. Of course, it's the greatest hits. Is it My Body, Desperado, Under My Wheels, Be My Lover, School's Out for the Summer, Hello Hooray, Elected, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Billion Dollar Babies, Teenage Lament, and Muscle of Love. Well, that really ties into your pink sock thing,
Yeah,
I like.
That's actually my muscle of love. Have you heard the album Battle Axe by Billion Dollar Babies? It was their only album.
No, is it good?
It's really good, but it's really hard to find. It's nearly impossible to find.
I think it was a strategic error on the part of the guys to tie themselves to Alice Cooper in any way. They should have just rebranded, done something fresh, no tie-in, because they lost the main guy with Alice. So everybody, it's just the Alice Cooper guys without Alice.
Right.
So then you get saddled with that. If they had just remarketed and everything, it would have had more cool attached because people go, those guys were the guys that used to be with Cooper, right? Then people go, oh, that's cool. But with Billion Dollar Babies, I think they overplayed their connection to him. I think they should have done. That's my own.
Well, let me ask everybody. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Mike.
If you listen to Billion Dollar Babies, they don't sound like Alice Cooper. Other than the instrumentals, they don't sound like Alice Cooper.
I see.
Like if they would have rebranded, they would have been perfectly fine, and they would have actually been cooler. but because they were trying to feed off the Alice Cooper fame, that's where they went downhill.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's my take too, as well.
Yeah.
It's a great band,
Well,
but
let me ask. Now, I'm going to see Alice. I think it's April 23rd, and he's also got Ace Frehley touring with him, and so that should be interesting.
Go. I've seen both of them together recently, and Go. It is amazing.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, I've got
He's my favorite member out of the Kiss, the quartet of Kiss original guys. Ace was Ace the guitar player, so I had to go with Ace really.
Right. Well, let me ask: has anybody seen Alice Cooper in concert?
20 times.
Yeah, I've seen
Have you? No. Okay. Well, tell us. Okay, Scott, you tell us where you've seen him at. You go first.
Well, I mean, as far as Alice Cooper is concerned, I started seeing Alice Cooper in the mid 80s. I didn't see him in the 70s, unfortunately. I mean, I'm born 67, so by the time I started seeing Alice Cooper, it was probably like 1985 or 86. Through a bunch of incarnations, a bunch of different lineups and stuff. Probably 3 or 4 times before I started seeing them when Ryan became in the band, because I've been with Ryan since 19.
Well, you were in a band with Ryan in New York, right?
I've known him quite a while. So,
you were in a band with him in New York. Yeah.
I was.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I was. And, I happened to go backstage 3 times to Alice Cooper, twice when they were opening for the Crew, once at Madison Square Garden backstage, another time upstate at SPAC. And then they played one time. They did a Halloween show at Roseland in New York City in, I think it was 1999 or 2000. And they had a private party and Alice was there. And so I went to that too, because Brian. And so, I mean, I've probably seen Alice Cooper probably 8 or 9 times. I also saw them too without Ryan. There was one time they played with, I believe it was with Heaven and Hell, which was with Ronnie James Dio with the Black Sabbath when they had to rename and rebrand. And I think Queensryche was also playing as well. Eric Singer was playing drums. So, I seen him a bunch of times. Love Alice.
Yeah.
I got to meet a couple of the original members as well.
Okay.
I was in a band called Visaria that was signed on Century Media Records in the mid-90s. And we played actually a Schiller Theater convention in D.C. in 1999. Okay. And Michael Bruce's band with the drummer, with Neil Smith, played. And they did a whole Alice Cooper set, and they were doing like an Alice tribute thing or whatever that they do.
Wow.
But after we opened for them, and after our set, Michael came over to me and he was like, "I love your drumming. You're great." And it was really, really nice to be able to hear someone of that stature who, co-wrote. He co-wrote all those classic songs that that are on the greatest hits. So, it was really cool to get to meet him. But that's basically my Alice story. Besides that, I'm still tight with Ryan, still talk to him. That's basically it.
Well, that's interesting. I got a little drumming career story to tell you. When I was in junior high, the Safaris had their song Wipeout out, and you couldn't walk into a classroom with the teacher gone without every guy in there trying to play Wipeout on his desk, right? So I thought I was getting pretty good at it. I was feeling kind of good about myself. And my buddy Denny Perry walks in. "Hey, Denny, check this out." I start playing Wipeout. And Denny shakes his head and looks at me. He takes his hand and shapes it like a C and puts it over the edge of the desk and starts playing it one-handed better than I was playing it. And it was like the end of my drumming career.
Funny. Yeah, the only other story that I can tell you, though, that's Alice related, is that I was in a band called The Vibes, which were originally the Throbs. They were on Geffen. They got dropped, like all the glam bands, in the early 90s. And so they reformed as The Vibes, and I played drums with them. And Dick Wagner actually produced the record. So if you know about Dick Wagner, he was basically the right-hand man with Bob Ezrin. So he played on a lot of those Alice records, and Welcome to My Nightmare. He's on that record as well. And he's also on, you know, some Kiss songs from Destroyer. So it was cool to be able to get to work and meet with him. He was really, really a cool guy, a really excellent guitar player, very, very good vocalist, good arranger.
Cool.
And yeah, so that was a cool thing too, that I was able to
That's
experience.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, let me just ask you, because I don't know if Rachel's been on with you before. How's your project coming along now? Your albums? My
stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I mean, I had a new release that came out on Valentine's Day 2014, and it's getting some exposure now. I'm doing some DJing on Twitch. I do that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going good. Actually, you know, I have a plan of attack of what I'm doing with, you know, all the music that I'm producing.
Okay, good.
So the next thing that's up is I'm doing actually a covers EP. So that I have like a bunch of different people that are going to be doing some guest vocals on. And, you know, it's going to be all stuff that, like, you know, it's going to be weird. It's going to be a lot of different types of music. There can be some stuff that's going to be maybe classic rock. There might be stuff that's more dance oriented, some things that are goth, some things that are new wave, stuff from the 80s. It's going to be a bunch of things.
All over the board. Yeah.
All over the board. And then possibly maybe some live shows around Halloween. So I'm going to start doing that.
Oh, that'll be cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah. Everything's
very cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Color me impressed.
Captain Pinksock, you were going to tell us about some Alice concerts?
First time I saw Alice, I think, was in 2007, Theater of Death tour. And I believe my official count's like 17, 20 times.
Wow.
Wow, you're kidding me.
Well, there's been times where like he would go on tour, and friends of mine were like, I want to see him live, and I want to see him live. So I'm just like, fuck it, are you available this day? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, he comes around here a lot, so you can go this day instead. So I would go to both dates with two different friends, because I'm like, I can never get tired of seeing Alice Cooper live. So I just go.
Yeah.
And
I'm really excited because I haven't seen him yet. But I mean, you're also friends with Ryan Roxy, just like Scott is, right? I mean, where did you meet Ryan at?
I'm not as close to Ryan as Scott was. He was in a band with him, but I met Ryan at a show. They did something called the Goon Squad. They would perform together before Alice Cooper shows, like the day before.
Right.
And I met him at one of those it's been about 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah.
And me and him stayed talking on Instagram, and we'd meet up before shows before the pandemic.
Wow.
We met up at a couple shows, and then pandemic happened. I had him on the podcast a couple times. And
okay. Well, I'll tell you, this is funny, but I don't usually think about this very often, but my daughter opened a clothing store, I don't know, 12 years ago or so, 13 years ago, here in Atascadero. And she would go to Los Angeles every week to the buyer's market. And it was kind of higher end clothes, like Lucky Jeans, $130 a copy and stuff like that, which was a little unusual for Atascadero, kind of a little hick town. But that's where I was buying all my jeans, is my daughter's store. But she started getting to know a lot of people down in LA, you know, because she'd go down there and do some buying, and she'd go to the clubs at night. And so she's doing a grand opening of her clothing store, and who comes up to play but Ryan Roxy's band, his own personal band, not, you know, Alice Cooper, obviously. Ryan Roxy brought his band up to play. They set up a huge stage, blocked off the streets, and so he played there, and that's when I met him. And Steven Adler showed up, you know, the previous drummer for Guns N' Roses, who'd long since been fired for drug abuse, but he's still got bands now and stuff too.
You know it's bad when you get fired from Guns N' Roses for drug abuse.
And that only happens when everybody else gets cleaned up and they get pissed off.
That's like being kicked out of Motley Crue for alcohol abuse.
Sadly, Guns N' Roses never really had the same group after Steven left.
Right.
Just
so that's where I met Ryan, and then of course later on they had all those concerts at Ravo Winery, and it was called we were talking about this Glam Nation, you know, called Glam Nation, and Ryan used to play in that band along with, you know, Stefan and some of the others. And yeah, what was funny about those bands, those clubs on Sunset? This happened to be at the club owned by Slim Jim Phantom and the Stray Cats, called the what the hell was the name of that club?
Cat Club.
The Cat Club. Thank you, thank you. Did you say that, Rachel?
No, I've seen it.
Oh,
You know that
okay,
Jordan the
thank you.
Lion, like he went into that particular club, that it's the Cat Club. That they were talking about that because you know, he was friends with Jordan, like he knew Dee Dee Ramone, because Dee Dee ended up in a hotel down in LA, and all that scene was there. So there's a video with him going in there talking about it with a guitar player friend that he knows.
Yeah, the funny thing about the Cat Club, and probably all those clubs, is other you know, musical artists would come in and just want to sit in and play with them, you know. And so they had like this, you know, some of them that have a big entourage some nights where guys would just walk in and want to plug their guitars into an amp and jam with them and stuff. And so when they were doing all those venues at Rava Winery, these guys would all come up from LA, you know, and want to play. Somebody from a great guitar player from the Doobie Brothers showed up one night. Somebody from Buck Cherry, what was his name? Really tatted up. He came up and just DJ'd and then did Todd.
Josh Todd.
Yeah.
So Royce, have you done online anything with a video on your channel about your testimony or anything? Like you're a mystery to me on some level. I mean, you're so personable and friendly and everything, but I wonder if you come out of this, you know, long-haired rock and roll thing, you got guitars all over the yin yang, and you're a bit of a rebel, and then you have, you know, your encounter, and then you're kind of a new guy, a different orientation. I'm just very curious about the story. I
might have to do something like that. But my story got kind of boring. You know, I got it wasn't anything about nothing boring about getting married. But I got married at 20 to my wife of 48 years, and then we started having kids. And it seemed like for many years,
so you were all legitimized before you could get out too wild.
That's what I'm trying to say. But we got wild really young. So many things I don't even talk about to anybody that wasn't there, but we just a lot of crazy stuff in our youth.
Your crew here, I mean, Captain Pink and Scott, obviously band. Jeff, are you in a band at all, or did you play guitar or drums or anything?
Well, I play guitar, but I'm not in a band or anything. But just bang around on a guitar.
But obviously a massive music collection in behind you. There's a great wall of media there.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Jeff, now I know you've probably seen Alice Cooper and the guy that was, pardon me?
Ace.
Yeah, Ace, right, because I know you're a big Kiss fan too.
Yeah, I first saw Alice Cooper in '87 when the Nightmare Returns album came out.
Oh, okay.
And my Alice Cooper story is kind of like when we say I never did like Alice Cooper, really. You know, growing up, it wasn't nothing to me. And my buddy's girlfriend in college, she was a huge freaking Alice Cooper nut.
No kidding.
You know, we got exposed to Alice that way, and we were like, "Wow, he's really fucking great." And after college, it was when, you know, he made his big '80s comeback and had the Constrictor album, and then he did that Nightmare Returns album, and that was when I first saw him. We were just like this the whole concert, like, "Oh my god, this is fantastic."
Well, that's awesome. So you've probably met Ace, you know, because I know you've met all the guys in Kiss and stuff.
I haven't never met Ace. I've met Gina Paul and Eric and Tommy Thayer.
Gotcha.
And I have met Alice Cooper. I met Alice Cooper once. Last time I saw Alice was about 4 years ago, and he did a concert in Tulsa, and then the next day they're always bringing in Eddie Trunk to host these concerts in Tulsa.
Okay.
And so he was going to do a live radio broadcast with Don Dawkins and Alice Cooper, and invited everybody that wanted to come down to come watch the interview. And I do like Dawkins, but he was kind of he wasn't friendly at all.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he didn't. interact with the fans at all. I'll say.
Oh, okay.
His vocals are shot anyway, so it's no.
Right.
I still love Dawkins. I listen to old Dawkins all the time.
Yeah.
Bill
But
tells a story
Alice-
in the peanut
Alice-
gallery about his meeting with Alice too.
Alice was really nice. They had a good interview, and then he came out there and shook hands with everybody, and we got his autograph, and
Yeah.
it was really cool. But it was like he wasn't in his Alice Cooper persona. He was just being
A regular guy.
cool
He
rock
knows
star.
he knows how to be a regular guy.
Yeah. So that was-
I like Cooper because he seems very intelligent to me. Like I've watched his interviews, and he seems like a guy who's lived life and seen stuff. And I don't know, he seems like very perceptive individual,
Right.
he
Right.
said,
Well, I was talking about the venue at the winery, Rava Winery, and all the different people that would show up. I mean, we had Sebastian Bach from Skid Row show up with his guitar player, and did a bunch of songs. And we had Dizzy Reed, keyboard player from Guns N' Roses, would come up and play keyboards. And when he wasn't playing them, Teddy Zigzag was playing them, who also played keyboards with Guns N' Roses. That Eric Singer was at every one of them playing drums. And when he wasn't playing drums, it would be Tommy Clufidis, Aussie Black Sabbath drummer now. And then you'd always have Slim Jim Phantom showed up, who used to own the Cat Club. And I always felt kind of sorry for him because he always seemed to get edged out by either Eric Singer or Tommy Clufidis. And he was always standing off to the side with one snare drum and one cymbal. And I always felt kind of sorry for him. So one day I was channel surfing, and I came across Stray Cats video, and I put it on and started watching. I wanted to see him play at a drum set, right? And here was a full drum set there, and he was standing to the side playing a snare drum and one cymbal, like he always did. I was like, "What the hell?"
He's an amazing.
I stopped feeling sorry
amazing
for him right then and there.
drummer, he's a great rockabilly drummer. I love the Stray Cats,
Yeah.
but he's not a rock and roll drummer. You know what I mean?
Did you guys know, like?
He's not. I've seen him play with Glam Nation and all that, And all due respects, I love Slim Jim, but he's just not. He's not a set guy like that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Have you ever heard
Songs and stuff like that. That's not his thing,
You
Right.
ever heard the group he did with Lemmy, where they do these rockabilly songs?
Yeah.
Was it Hawkwind?
I
Was
didn't
that
hear
the
it, no.
band?
No,
No.
it's a rockabilly band.
Yeah, they did a rockabilly band. That's right.
Oh,
Like
what was
long after Lemmy had been out of Hawkwind.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, what was the name of that band? I remember now.
This is like 90s time, right?
Yeah.
I remember that. I forget the name of the band though.
Gosh, I can't remember either.
That's a great story, Bill. You got two good stories in there. One, he's
Yeah.
at a soup kitchen. Alice Cooper's just helping feeding the poor. And the other thing he's got going is that he got a Kiss shirt from Eric Singer that Jordan the Lion, the guy I was telling you about, had got from him. I guess they auctioned it off or something. So that is a really cool story.
That's cool. Jordan the Lion, he came up to all those concerts too, because he used to go to the Cat Club, and he'd been following some of those guys.
Oh, so do you know Jordan yourself, Royce?
Yeah, in fact, when I went to London, England, Jordan showed up, and Jordan and I did two videos together. One was in front of Harry Nilsson's flat. We're both mom and
really?
cat.
It's on his channel? Is this on his channel?
No, it's on my channel.
On your channel? I got to see this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not on the same playlist. It's in a different playlist. And that's where both.
Give me a link.
Okay.
Well, you can drop by on the show tomorrow when I do my live stream. Just come in and say, Rachel, you're asking about that.
Okay.
Take your time to get it.
Well, Jordan the Lion and I did another video, which was even more fun. We went to the alley where Bob Dylan wanted to prove that in Subterranean Homesick Blues, he was being accused of using foul language. So he brought all these big white placards stacked up, and he was holding them, and they had all the lyrics. And so Jordan was holding up and playing that video with Bob Dylan, and we were filming that video and the alley where it was being filmed in. The alley was right there.
Is this in the UK? Is this in England?
Yeah, this was in London.
I know exactly where you were because I went over there And I'm such a nut for rock and roll. I went to it's behind the Savoy Hotel, right on the Strand. If you go walk,
and you know, when you see him, when you see Bob Dylan in that video, and you're looking at the hotel, that alley, it hasn't changed one bit.
It's identical. It's identical. And so I remember I was getting Sue to sit there and, go move. You got to move over a couple. There, you're right. Stay right there. Because in the thing, you got Allen Ginsberg in the back with the burner, and he's warming his hands by the.
So we toured all of London with Jordan the Lion, and then we walked down to the hotel where Kiss was staying on their Kiss End of the World tour, and Eric Singer came out, and we went walking around London.
I got to see this. You got film of this.
Well, not the part with Eric Singer, just some stills.
Well, even if you're hanging around, if you put a video together, I love this stuff. I love these celebrity meetings, and I'm a Canadian, so I just envy all you Americans running around. You mean, oh yeah, I know this guy. Oh yeah, Sunset Strip. Oh, Whiskey Go. Oh yeah. I got stories, and I just go
right.
You got Rush.
Yeah, we got Rush.
The name of the rockabilly band that Lemmy was in was the Head Cat.
Yep. There you go.
Okay.
Head Cat. What were they called? Pink.
The Head Cat.
Writing it down. There we go.
They released 2 albums, and they were active up until Lemmy's death. From 1999 up until his death, they were still active.
Who was the guitarist?
The guitarist was. Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Remember if it was somebody of note or.
Nah, Danny B. Harvey. And Lemmy would also play guitar.
Huh.
He played bass and guitar because they also had a bassist.
I didn't have any of their albums, but I've seen some of those videos. It's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, they have videos.
Rockabilly.
Yeah, they have videos on.
Yeah, you guys, and it looks like Bill knows Jordan as well.
Yeah,
so he seems like such a down-to-earth, honest kid. He seems like a very nice.
I know. He's kind of like the kid next door, and he's been popping 1 or 2 videos a day on. It seems like he's really.
I haven't watched him in a fair while, but I do 2 streams, so I'm after that I'm kind of. But back in the day when I was watching him a lot, like he was friends with I want to say Toady Fields, but it's not Shirley. Who's the other one he was friends with?
Shelley Winters.
Shelley Winters was his good friend, and she kind of adopted him on some level. And they invited him over, and he was telling stories about like George Hamilton's over, and they're having tea or something at Shelley Winters' place, and it's just an absolute whirlwind thing to watch.
About Robert Blake coming over to their party right after he got acquitted, and they're like,
"Oh my God,
who invited him?"
What a story. Oh my God, Robert Blake. What poor guy. What a messed up piece of work. Kind of like Phil Spector on that level. Like, I'm pretty sure he's guilty of killing his wife. It's kind of like,
tell me there was a better movie on than Beretta at the time.
Yeah, Beretta was a big deal. Everybody watched that. Beretta was a huge show for him.
Well, my older brother was an actor. He's 9 years older than me, and he went down. He joined all the unions, and he was getting some small parts and some late night movie parts and things like that.
Yeah, did he get in anything that the folks would know?
No, it's something called the Hunted Woman or something like that, where he played a casino boss, which is what he did in Vegas. He was a casino boss.
Oh, okay.
but anyway, so he was a natural for that. But he was really trying to break in, and he was told that he was going to get this upcoming actor's role in the movie Beretta, and he was all excited about it.
Yeah.
And the next thing you knew, Robert Blake brought a friend of his in, and that nixed that.
Yeah, I took the role from him.
Yeah. You'd see him on, General Hospital or some of those soap operas and stuff like that. But that was about it.
For that.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, Jordan's around a lot. He's popped on my show in the chat a couple of times.
Like in this, just like we're doing here. So
just like this. And I'm like, Jordan, come on. Then pretty soon he just disappears. He didn't really want to come on.
Yeah, he's just checking it out though. But
checking it out. Yeah.
Yeah, you're friends after a start, he knows you.
Right.
I think this is so interesting I love all these stories that again, because it's the United States and it's the entertainment capital, especially folks in California But then you
Right.
get these celebrities that, that come out of every nook and cranny all over the States. They go, oh, yeah, so-and-so's from Memphis or Kansas or
Right.
somewhere. And then you go, yeah, I met them or I went to school with this. It's just crazy to me. Like the people have met. I would be entertained for hours on end if you guys tell stories. Well,
I'll tell you, those concert venues I talked about at the winery, I got to know if anybody knows him. And I'm thinking Scott might know him. Eric Dover.
Yeah.
Great guitar player, great vocalist, dances around kind of like Mick Jagger on stage. He was in Slash's Snake Pit. Yeah, Snake Pit. Oh, so you know him too. Okay. What a talented guy.
Imperial Drag, though. That's where I know him from.
He also, didn't he play guitar for Alice for a little while, or was it bass?
I don't know. He knows him and Ryan are friends, but I know he was
in Alice, but I forget what he played.
Is anybody familiar with the band called Jellyfish?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, he was in that band too. And he was in another band. I've heard people that know him say he's like the best unsigned guy out there.
Yeah, I saw Imperial Drag at a really small club in New York City when they first started. That's right when he was out of Jellyfish. Yeah.
Do any of you guys know the people from Red Cross, the band Red Cross? I like them a lot.
I saw Red Cross a lot of times. Yeah.
This is the thing. You guys can do all this. Scott Harris, have you got a webpage or anything?
Yeah, I'm at if you're on Instagram, it's horrorhouse_official. That's like that.
Horrorhouse_official.
HORORHAUS.
Okay, got it. Official.
_official. Yeah.
Well, it's wonderful to meet you, Scott and Jeff, and of course Cap. I know before. I've seen Cap before. I know Cap's got a podcast that he does. Jeff, do you do videos or anything like that? Or you just hang out and talk music with people who love music?
Well, I've got like concert videos on my channel that I've filmed.
Oh, that you go film them and stuff?
Yeah.
Do they shake you down for that anymore? Back in the old days, it was like no cameras or Axel would jump out and punch you or something.
Well,
Axel still does that.
Not so bad about letting you film them, but the bad part now is YouTube will pull them down.
Oh, I didn't know that YouTube would pull down like just bootleg concert footage.
Yeah, they've done that today.
Yeah, it's difficult because
it's just like certain artists. Like I know they pulled down some Robert Plant that I put up, some Heart, some Bruno Mars. Just
they flag everything, and it's also on Instagram and Facebook as well. Like if you post videos or anything like that, they're gonna take them down.
However, you can find Motley Crue performances because it doesn't sound anything like this fucking song.
Hey, Vince? Didn't he get in trouble? Like he was trying to sing or something. He couldn't get through it last summer. It was the big
he was saying he's in the best shape of his career. He's ready to go on the stadium tour. He made it 2 songs in or 3 songs in, and he's like, "All right, my voice is shot." And he left the stage, and the backing band was
the first fucking show.
Yeah, and the backing band, as he was saying he can't do it anymore, was going, "Girls, girls, girls." So it was comical because
The best though was I went to go see Motley Crue and Alice Cooper opened at SPAC, which is upstate here. Where I'm upstate New York, Saratoga Springs, and we were able to go because it was an amphitheater. We were able to go like right up front, so. It was me and Ryan and then a couple of the other members that were in Alice Cooper were with us too. But also Mick Mars' girlfriend was there too, like in the front row filming.
He's my favorite guy in Motley Crue is Mick Mars. He's my guy. Awesome. He is
we're all hanging out. Yeah, I love Mick Mars. So we're hanging out in the front, like maybe like second or third row, and you could see the teleprompter for Vince and I was just like, really, dude, you need a teleprompter? I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Aerosmith does that too. Aerosmith, last time I saw them, Steven Tyler had a teleprompter.
But Vince Neil has a teleprompter, but he doesn't use it.
So he forgets the lyrics anyway, even though it's there.
He goes, "Big Mac 103, my honk."
with lyrics, so I kind of get that. You know, it's almost like I'm good with melody and the rhythm. I can get that, but I always forget lyrics. Even songs I've listened to hundreds of times. You know, it's gone.
He's not even singing in key.
Well, you're the lead singer, and you're not like 65 or 70 years old. No offense. It's like, you know, and you need guidance. It's like, and you need your readers.
Yeah,
I know. You need your readers. Your 50s, right?
You know what's really weird is Ozzy uses a teleprompter, but he can't read or write.
well, look at poor Ozzy. My God.
Yeah, but
Oh,
Ozzy
I
can't
know.
read or write, but he has a teleprompter. That doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
Is there like pictures on that damn thing?
I don't know.
Where she had some guy behind the curtain for Ozzy, and Ozzy's just up there lip syncing.
That's how it used to be, but I don't think it's still that way. I think they have Zach Wilde help out.
Yeah.
Because Zach's on stage and he's by his microphone all the time. So I think that's how they do it now.
So, Scott, have you met Mick Marr? Do you know him at all?
No, I've never met anyone from the crew
From
at
the
all.
crew,
Yes, I've
yeah.
met people from Kiss, but no, I've not.
Nikki
met
Sixx has me blocked on Twitter. Does that count?
What? Nikki Sixx blocked you? Nikki seems like a bit of a jerk. No offense to Nikki fans, but he kind of comes off a little rough around the edges. And Mick seems like the nicest guy in the world. You know, I don't know.
I think he might have blocked me because I kept shitting on Vincent Neil.
Oh, yeah.
You mean Vince
That can
Squeal?
happen.
Yeah, I kept tagging him and shit like, hey, you should bring back John Karabi.
I
That
don't
one
see
went
her
over big.
get to her.
He couldn't
Vince
even
can't
sing
sing
an
and
Us
Vince can't
festival
move.
time.
What was that?
I
He
don't
couldn't
see
even
how
sing
that
live.
one can to her.
He
That's
couldn't do
funny.
what, Scott?
He couldn't even sing live back in the Us festival days.
Oh, wow.
Well, the thing
I
is,
love Motley Crue, and I love Shout at the Devil, and then Too Fast for Love. Those are my favorite records from them or whatever.
Yeah,
and I've
yeah.
seen them a bunch of times. But, you know, Vince Neil is not the best vocalist live in the world, and we all know that, you know.
he never has been either. Because if you watch like 80s footage, he still wasn't the best vocalist.
But it was great energy and
festival.
footage when they were having their moment in the 80s, you know, that was going. Anybody know any of the people in Cinderella? That is my favorite hair band. That is my guilty pleasure hair band. I like the Cinderella band. And
Cinderella.
No, I
they
was
one
a
of their
Cinderella
guys
fan,
passed
but didn't
away a
know
couple
anybody.
years ago or something. Go ahead, Royce. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, I was just saying I was a Cinderella fan too, and I didn't realize how big they were, but
They were
I
good. man.
enjoyed
They
that
were
band.
melodic. They had a lot of melody in their stuff.
Yeah,
I liked
melodic,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
His
A lot
solo
of bands
band
aren't melodic.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of guy Tom Kiefer is, but boy, he was a cutie patootie, you know. Pretty boy.
I don't know about Tom, but I do like my Kiefer, if you know what I mean.
I've seen him solo 2 or 3 times. And he's really, I like his solo band better than Cinderella.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever
But
get
like
a
I said, I
chance,
mean, they had a lot of hits, and it was all show. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
hair bands were fun, and everything
They
got
were fun,
serious
yeah.
with the grunge thing out of Seattle. Everything was very, very serious now. You know,
Oh,
we
yeah.
get rid of the hair
Well-
and makeup. We're going to be very serious.
Right. And the grunge bands were, you know, I mean, you felt like everybody in the grunge band would pull up a stool next to you and work on your motorcycle with you, you know.
See,
flannel
there was
shirt.
a circuit they did in, like it was Washington, Seattle, then Vancouver, Canada. Because I had a buddy from the Canadian side, and he knew all these guys. He knows all the guys in Soundgarden. He knows Nirvana, and he said we partied like all these Seattle bands. We partied. They'd go Oregon, they go down to Portland, to Seattle, and then they'd go up to Vancouver, and they'd do a circle because they couldn't get gigs anywhere, so they'd play house parties. Right, everybody knew everybody. So you want to play at our place?
Right,
Yeah, okay, we got a thing going. And so that was a scene, which I find is I love these stories, you know.
There actually was a
right.
Canadian grunge band in the 90s. Nickelback, when they first
Oh,
started.
Nickelback became huge.
That's
yeah.
post grunge.
No. The original Nickelback, first 2 albums was actually 90s grunge. And then they changed to commercial rock.
Yeah.
Well, you know, a Canadian band that I saw twice in concert as a teenager that I really liked was the Guess Who?
Oh,
American Woman. I love that band.
The
Yeah, I saw
Guess
them
Who
twice.
and Who should have toured together. The Guess Who.
Yeah.
Who?
You know, when they came out, because I was just a little I just turned 64. And when I was a kid, I still remember like 1969, 70. I'm
Yeah.
listening to the Guess Who, but because
Right.
I'm like 11, in 69, I'm 11, I'm going, are these guys the Who or the Guess Who? I
No, I
couldn't
know,
figure in
yeah.
my kid's brain what the
Right.
difference between the Who and the Guess Who were, because the
Right,
names
right.
screwed me my head around.
One of them
But,
has more hits.
The
That's
point
that's
was
the
the
difference.
Who had huge
The
hits.
I
Huge.
guess the
But
Who.
the Guess Who had These Eyes and Laughing, American Woman. Those
Yeah.
they got a lot of airplay with that.
No,
Share the
that was a good band. They had good songs.
yeah, they're so.
You know, one
Randy
band that I
Bachman-
saw, Betty and I saw a band a couple of years ago, Elton John. But
Oh.
I'd seen Elton John as a teenager. You know, every song he'd put a different pair of gigantic sunglasses on, you know,
Yeah,
and it was kind of funny. But we got sent free tickets to see him at the Forum at Caesar's Palace. And that's a small
wow.
venue. There's no bad seats in there either. You know, it's called the $1 Million Piano. I got free rooms, free tickets to the show, good seats. And what was cool at the Forum, there's this massive screen behind the stage. And there was like whatever song he was playing, like let's say Rocket Man, there'd be some celestial scene going by moving. And the reason they call it the $1 Million Piano was the band that runs around the outside of the piano, whatever scene was going on up there was moving across the piano, you know?
No, they had like a screen built into the counter.
Yeah, screen built in, and all the songs that, like I said, every action up on the stage was going across the piano at the same time.
Best concert you ever saw, Royce? Can you say it?
Best concert I ever saw.
Some people can't say it. Some I've seen too many. I can't. You know, but
Yeah.
for me, I can. But not everybody can do that.
Well, you know, I saw the Rolling Stones twice. I saw Exile on Main Street, 1972-ish in Long Beach, at the Long Beach Arena. And then I got tickets. Betty and I got tickets. Our daughter bought us tickets to see the Stones, the Bridges to Babylon tour. And it was in Portland, Oregon. We had to travel to Portland to see them. And those were good shows. And I had tickets to see them in San Diego last year. And then it got canceled because of COVID, or 2 years ago. And we finally got a refund. And if they wind up coming back to California, I may wind up rebuying the tickets, you know. I mean, I love the Rolling Stones. They're a great concert. Let's see. Who else did I see that was great? Oh, man. It's really hard to say. You know, it's hard to top the Stones in concert, for one. But, I mean, I saw, you know, Sly and the Family Stone, Chicago. My funny story about Chicago that I didn't talk about for 50 years is we were so fucking high at the Chicago concert. And we're sitting at the very top, as far as you could get from the fucking stage, with our backs up against the wall. And I looked at my friends and I go, I'm going to go get a better seat. And I remember as I'm walking down the aisle, I'm holding on to people to keep from falling, you know. And the next thing I know, I wake up and I open my eyes and I'm staring at the ceiling and all the lights are on. And I slowly start to look around and there's people pushing big dumpsters and sweeping and stuff. And the whole place is empty except for the cleanup people. I was laying on 5 rows in the front seat. I mean, 5 seats in the front row.
So you don't even, do you remember the concert at all then?
No, I don't remember the concert. I don't remember how I got there. You know?
Now you feel like how the Stones do. Oh, that's how they were on stage. They did that.
So that might have been one of my favorite concerts. I really liked Chicago back then.
Well, Royce, thanks for. I just want to say thanks for putting up with me for a bit. I just come in. My much better half who came in. And,
okay.
So
and I saw Black Sabbath at the Las Vegas Convention Center. That ranks up there.
Who was their vocalist? Which
Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne.
There you go. That's the best to me. Ozzy is Black Sabbath.
Okay, well, thank you.
Good seeing you again, Captain Pink. Good seeing you again. Nice meeting you, Jeff. And Scott, I'll follow you on the Instagram. Thanks, guys. And take care, Peanut Gallery.
Well, thanks for popping in. It was great seeing you.
Yeah, it's always good connecting with you, Roy. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Okay. So to answer the question, does anybody else want
that was a surprise.
Answer?
What's that?
Anyone answer her question?
Go ahead. Oh, answer her question about the best concert.
Yeah, because I'm kind of interested in what your guys'
Well,
best
there were
concert
Stones. It was Stones, and it was Black Sabbath was great. I missed out on some of the bands that, like my favorite. My all-time favorites are going to be the Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix. I never got to see either one of them in concert, and that just breaks my heart. I did go to California Jam at the Ontario Speedway in Ontario, California. And incidentally, Mikey Altini was there at the same concert. We didn't know each other. I didn't see him or anything, but Black Sabbath played there again. So I saw Black Sabbath twice actually, and the Stones twice. And I saw just dozens of concerts at the Las Vegas Convention Center. We had a door that a guard would stand by that was wide open, and sooner or later he'd have to go take a piss or something. We'd all kind of stand huddled in a crowd talking, and we'd keep looking over at the door. And at some point, you'd look over and he was gone, and we'd creep up to the door and look back and forth. We'd bust in blend in with the crowd and just start walking along like we were there the whole time. And I must have got 7 or 8 free concerts at the Las Vegas Convention Center. They're all like big venues, like great concerts. And I saw that Guess Who there a couple of times. We were just talking about that with Rachel, a Canadian band. And I saw Buddy Miles after he left Jimi Hendrix, And it was the first time in my life I ever saw a drummer front the band. All the guitar players and stuff were behind him. Big guy, big afro, and the drum set, he had like a tank top on. The drum set was right up at the front of the stage, and he sang and played the drums. And that was a really fun concert because I like Buddy Miles. Did I say Buddy Guy? No. I've seen these concerts that I actually proclaimed them to be my favorite concerts for years. And it was a tribute to Jimi Hendrix. And they assembled all the best guitar players in the country, and they went on tour together, and they all played Hendrix songs. And it was so damn much fun. You'd have Joe Satriani and Eric Johnson, and I can't even think of all the names right now, but they would all come, and Buddy Guy, who Jimi Hendrix called the greatest living guitar player, they'd all come out and do Hendrix songs. And one of the highlights for me was Jimi Hendrix played for the Isley Brothers, and he lived with one of the Isley Brothers. And Ernie Isley, when his band came out, he goes, "Yeah, I'm Ernie Isley. My dad was one of the Isley Brothers, and Jimi Hendrix played with my dad's band, and he lived with us, and he gave me guitar lessons." And Jimi Hendrix lived with them for he said 5 years. I recently saw a picture of Hendrix and the Isley Brothers, and it said 4 years, and whatever it was. But he taught little Ernie Isley how to play the guitar. He was his personal guitar instructor while he was living there at the home of one of the Isley Brothers. And I swear to you, man, when he started playing, you thought you were listening to Jimi Hendrix. But that was I said for a long time after that, because any one of those performers there would have been a headliner someplace, but they were all there together, and I said for years afterward that it was the best concert I ever saw. And I got to see it twice. I saw it at the Arlington Theater, downtown Santa Barbara, and then later on at the Avila Blues Festival, which is just 30 minutes from where I live. And that still ranks up there with the top, to tell you the truth.
I actually got to see Buddy Guy in concert, and I will stand by this. He's still the best living guitar player. That dude is fucking insane. And he was 90 when I saw him.
Twice. Saw him twice. I think B.B. King one of the times at Chumash Casino here in Santa Ynez, which is an hour and a half from here. It's Santa Ynez is where Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch is. I keep wanting to go over there and make a little travel video, but I have to get my moonwalking back to where it was years ago, first. So I have to moonwalk in front of the Neverland Ranch, and I haven't done that yet. Got my skill level back, is what I mean. But anyway, so so that concert was great. The Stones are always good. Seeing Black Sabbath at a time when it's one of your favorite bands, that was really good, So how about you guys? What would you call your favorite concert?
Who's next? Jeff?
I guess
yeah,
I'll go.
Jeff, you can go first. Favorite concert?
One of two, and you guys have heard me say all the random bands I've seen live. I would either go with Iron Maiden or Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, Weird Al Yankovic. That's an
Weird
interesting
Al
choice.
puts on an amazing concert.
Well, I loved all the songs that he did. So yeah, I could see
Like,
that.
I was impressed. But
Yeah.
Maiden, because they had a big freaking airplane above their head through one
Oh
of the
my
songs,
God.
and it was just insane stage
But
production.
that would
tour
be-
was that? What tour was
Legacy
that?
of the Beast. Their
Nice.
last one, Legacy.
Yeah. Mhm.
They did shit from all eras.
I saw
Right.
and met Weird Al here about 5 years ago, maybe.
He's
Oh, did
working on
you?
a movie. Did you hear about that?
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, that's why he was here, because he filmed that movie in Tulsa. So,
What,
They were-
UAF?
hmm
Yeah, he's working on another movie. It's a biopic starring Daniel Radcliffe as him.
Right.
I'm serious.
I heard something about him recently. I can't remember what it was. Isn't he going on tour again or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
or-
doing the unfortunate return of the mindless, self-indulgent vanity tour. He's not doing any. He's not doing any parodies. All B-sides, set list changes every night. No costume changes. Nothing crazy. He's just gonna do originals and songs that he hasn't done in years. I saw him on the original one, and it was amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
he did songs he hasn't done in like 30 years. I'm like,
Well,
wow.
Jeff, how about you, concert wise?
Oh gosh, I've seen so many. Of course, Heart. I love Heart, and I've seen them probably 40 times. I don't know.
Really? Wow.
And
Yeah, they're a good band.
two others that stand out are Van Halen in 1984 and Kiss reunion tour, because I never ever thought I would see that again. So that was
Okay.
blew my mind. But I'm a concert freak. I've seen so many people. And I like all of them, but of course you have certain favorites, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I told Scott last week, I saw Dwight Yoakam. He's my favorite country artist, and I've seen him.
Yeah. Dwight's
five
good.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, he's awesome live.
I enjoy going
Yeah.
to concerts.
Yeah.
I've seen the Stones 5 times.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. I saw original Van Halen first on the I always call it the Unchained tour, but it's that what album is
Warning.
Unchained on?
Fair warning.
Yeah, Fair Warning tour.
Cool.
Wow.
But I sat right next to the stage in '84, and it was just like, oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's
Wow. Caitlin's saying she wants to see my moonwalk video. Okay, well you will eventually. I've got the glove, I've got the hat, I even got the sequin socks, but I probably won't put those on.
You got to get a black wig. You got to get a black wig.
A black wig, yeah. Black Jerry curls hanging down, yeah.
Is it just me, or was like Michael Jackson innovative? Like he was wearing masks before any pandemic was going on. He now everybody's walking around like they used to make fun of him. Now everybody's walking around like you got to be starting something. Like,
well, he was definitely innovative. You know, my history with Michael Jackson goes back a long ways. You know, when he was in the Jackson 5 singing 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, I was listening to Led Zeppelin and stuff, you know. And so that just didn't appeal to me. It was like teeny bop, you know. But I would have to admit that later in life, when he was doing Beat It and all those great videos from Thriller, were all on MTV all day long. I couldn't help you. How could you not like that? You know what I mean?
Everybody liked it. That's why he was
Everybody
so big.
liked it, you know.
he still has.
I remember when that album came out, and there was a girl that I went to high school with, and she was like really nerdy, and it's really, really cool music though. And it was it was before Michael Jackson had Billie Jean was the first video from
Billie Jean, yeah.
And it wasn't out yet, and she's like, Michael Jackson Thriller, this album is going to be a huge record. Watch,
yeah,
and it blew up, and
right.
You know, I mean, like I loved Off the Wall when it came out. I had Off the Wall and Jackson 5 cartoon when I'm 67.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm 67, so I was a child of the 70s, like a little kid riding the big wheel. So, like, I was into all the stuff that was happening, Kiss,
Right.
a Kiss kid, Kiss meets the Phantom. The older
Right.
fans were like, that sucks, that shit. For the kids, we're like, this is Star Wars. This is, like our thing, So Kiss was my first show ever. 79 at Madison Square Garden Dynasty tour. So, but I was 11 years old, so that gives you an idea of like where I'm at,
Right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I had another concert story, but we'll just skip it. We were talking about.
I'll tell you about my concerts. Like,
go
I'm
ahead.
into a million different types of music. Like, I like everything from like country to black metal. So it's like it's really, really diverse. So I mean, I missed a lot of the stuff in the early 80s because of my age. My parents didn't let me go to shows with my friends, which is really sad, but it's the truth. Van Halen, Fair Warning, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. All the stuff all the heavier stuff or whatever that was happening at the time, Def Leppard, I didn't get to see any of that really. Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. But I would drag my parents to certain shows and then they would take me to those shows. So like, I'll tell you some of the shows. Kiss I saw in 79. 81 was my next show, which at Madison Square Garden was Foreigner on 4 with Billy Squier on Don't Say No. Don't Say No, this huge record or whatever that blew up for him, which was an amazing show. If you like melodic vocals, Lou Gramm, I'm sorry, amazing lead vocalist at the time. He was untouchable. And Billy Squier was great as well. I love Squier. And I saw Pat Benatar on Get Nervous, and that was 84, and that was Loverboy, Saga on Worlds Apart opened for that show. But Pat Benatar, I'm a huge fan of melodic vocals, so Pat Benatar was like amazing. I mean, I wish I would have saw him, on Precious Time, but I didn't get to see that or whatever. I saw Rush 1982 on Signals, Nassau Coliseum, third row right in front of Alex Lifeson. That was life-changing as a musician, drummer, into just musicianship in general. I know a lot of people don't like Rush, think Geddy Lee's annoying, all that, whatever. But as a musician, from a musicianship standpoint, to see that at 15 was mind-changing, life-changing, mind-boggling. I can't even explain what it was like to be able to see that sort of thing. Of course, I never thought I would have wanted to see all the Fillmore East stuff.
For sure.
These CBTVs, all those bands. Yes, I saw the Ramones, but I saw the Ramones in 85. You know what I mean? I didn't see the Ramones in 77, but I did see them, and I saw a lot of club stuff that came through, a lot of crazy bands that came up. Guns N' Roses on their first run, Alice in Chains in a small club.
Well, I'm being
release party. There's a lot of that. Guns N' Roses backstage. I saw Tears for Fears and people like Tears for Fears. Tears for Fears on Songs from the Big Chair at Radio City, 1985, was one of the best shows I ever saw musically. It was perfect. They were amazing live. I mean, there's a lot of things, but well,
a lot of the fog's starting to clear a little bit. You mentioned Eddie Van Halen, and when they reunited with David Lee Roth, I got to see him in concert right here at the Paso Robles Fairgrounds, 9 miles up the highway here, which has really, really great shows every year. They'll have like 10 big venues, and then they'll have the free shows. And that's usually people like, I've seen Peter Frampton at a free show, people of that caliber that just haven't been around in a while doing anything. So they're sponsors, they get paid, but for the spectators, it's a free show. So I saw Van Halen reunited with David Lee Roth, and oh my God, I've always been a Van Halen fan. And when the show was over and everybody was standing up screaming for an encore, all of a sudden, here comes Eddie with his guitar, a little wooden stool. He walks out to a microphone and lowers it down and sits on the stool and solos for 20 or 30 minutes. And it was just, I would have to say, one of the best 20 or 30 minutes I've ever seen at a concert. And other bands that may not interest other people, but 67, 68, kind of between the British invasion and Woodstock, or say the Cream and Creedence and all those bands coming out, there was this period of time where all me and my friends were listening to was soul music, Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, The Temptations, the list goes on and on. There were hundreds of them. But we were listening to all that, and I got to see at the Paso Robles Fairgrounds again years later, The Temptations and the Four Tops. And they would come out independently and do their shows, and they'd come out together and do it. And it was just, for me, it was just amazing, And even though it was in the big, the big arena, where they do all the big stuff, rodeos and everything, where the headliners are, it was still kind of a small, intimate thing where they just had tables set up that were spread around, and you just sat at a table and watched it. And it was just fantastic, And let's see, what else was I going to mention? So that was a group, but I saw so many concerts up there. And because this is a rural area, the acts have always been split no more than 50-50 country rock, usually more 60 or 70 country, 30-35 rock, because it is, they got the 4-H animals, they got the rodeo, they've got the monster trucks, and all that kind of stuff, plus a huge carnival and things like that. It goes on for like a whole week. I think it's like 10 days, and there's a big act every night, and then you got the free shows. You can just walk in and see what may have been a really big act at one time that just isn't a real big act anymore. But anyway, so that's always fun. And we took my oldest daughter was a huge fan of Whitney Houston, so we bought tickets in Bakersfield. Pulled her out of school, didn't tell her where we were taking her, and we drove over to Bakersfield and walked in. We didn't have the best seats there, and me and Amber, my oldest daughter, looked at each other and said, "Let's go find a better seat," And Betty's like, "No, we're going to get in trouble." We're like, "Come on. This is just normal. You walk around, somebody didn't show up, there's some empty seats, somebody's got to sit in them." And so finally we coaxed Betty along, and we went and found 3 great seats up front and sat down. Nobody ever bothered us.
You're lucky.
And that was a fun concert, I won't say that I was a big Whitney Houston fan, but she played all day on the radio. Everybody, she's a fantastic voice. I might be more of a fan now than I was when she was alive, to be honest with you. But and I went on a blues cruise one time, a Caribbean cruise. I was a member of the San Luis Obispo Blues Society. I was really into the blues. They'd have concerts every month with 3 or 4 different acts. Might be a couple of local people, then somebody that more known, And so they sponsored this blues cruise, and we all went. And of course, Etta James was supposed to be the headliner, and she was sick or something, didn't make it, But there was a bunch of people that I knew of, and it was fun. That was a fun deal. And like you, Scott, and probably everybody, my tastes have gone round and round, from British invasion type music to soul music to back to rock music, and then all the different genres. I even loved grunge, and I know people don't like to hear anybody say that because they feel like it kind of crushed all the glam metal and stuff like that, and glam rock, glam metal.
Honestly, it was ready to die anyway. It's like anything else. Like it was there for a while. It was good. I was hanging out in New York City in the glam scene, 86, 87 through 99, through when grunge, like I saw Alice in Chains, Soundgarden.
Oh yeah, that would have been great.
All of them, I saw them all when they're on
that
their way.
That video, Man in the Box, that was just wild,
But I'm just saying, it's like it had its run. I saw every glam band that came through Cat Club.
Gotcha.
From Faster Pussycat through Enough's Enough, anyone you can name. And it's there was some great stuff and there was some shit, like anything,
Right.
But I kind of think that it's like, things kind of go in waves in the music industry anyway.
Yeah, that's right. They most certainly do.
Guns N' Roses.
I used to write. Oh, go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
Guns N' Roses came out in '87. So they killed grunge, if anybody did. Killed glam before grunge.
Right. Well, you brought up something that was the other thing I was going to mention. I had this young guy working for me, John Hernandez, and they were advertising on the radio that a major rock act was making a video for their new album, and they weren't going to tell you who it was. They didn't want traffic to stop in Los Angeles. It was that big of a band, but you had to show up at the Orpheum Theater in Los Angeles wearing a tuxedo. So just for something to fucking do. And John was much younger than me. I was mid-40s and he was like 30, And it was his idea, but I wasn't hard to talk into it. We went and rented fucking tuxedos, took a day off work, drove down to that theater. We didn't know until we were standing in the lobby that Guns N' Roses was making the video November Rain. So we go in there, we sit down, and they did like 7 takes of it. But I mean, it's a long song to begin with. But between each take, Slash and Axl would sit on the stage and people would line up, to get autographs. And so there would be like this 30, 40 minutes between the 7 takes. I mean, we were there for like hours and hours and hours, And so, and the girls would go up there and have their breasts autographed, or they pull their pants down and have their butts autographed.
Come on, you got your breasts autographed. I know you.
Well, yeah, but only only by Slash.
Come on, Axl.
Yeah. Would you sign my jock strap? a little lower there, Axl. But anyway, so that was kind of fun, and my kids and I, we all love Guns N' Roses, and of course that was when MTV played all day long on our TV, and you saw all these videos. And so when that video came out, I wanted to make sure that they would see me because they would get a kick out of it. I've got videos of my kids dressed up as Axl Rose singing Patience, with a big scarf on their head and stuff like that. But anyway, so every time the camera, this was one of these beautiful old theaters, right? Real decorative and stuff. They had this camera in the sky that would pan across, and film everybody from overhead. And every time it went overhead, very out of character for me. Always been kind of a shy guy. I would jump on as I saw it coming, I'd jump on my chair and turn toward it and start playing air guitar, standing on my chair. Everybody was looking at me like I was completely nuts, And unfortunately, after all that humiliation, I wound up on the cutting room floor.
You're an overachiever.
Yeah.
Overachiever, yeah.
We don't.
So anyway,
the band.
Thank you for bringing up Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
I have a lot of Guns N' Roses stories too, but that's probably for another time.
So anyway, I think we were talking about Alice Cooper an hour ago.
Yeah.
I think I don't know where the show went to.
I don't know. So okay, so he started doing some movie type stuff. He did this Alice Cooper, The Nightmare, in 1975, and there was some stuff in there from Vincent Price, legendary Vincent Price, the horror movie guy. Some verbiage in there from him. Then he was in a Mae West film called Sextet. It was in Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band in 78, and several appearances on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. And then in the 70s, by the late 70s, though, his problems with alcohol became life-threatening, and he was checked into a clinic. And I guess he did pretty good, but when he got out, he had a relapse, and he fell off the wagon. And
he released from the inside.
Seen Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, well, he fell off the wagon, and
he's got a big part in that movie.
He released From the Inside around the time when he went the first time to rehab.
Once he got straight, he never went back to it. But he almost died. He got so bad with it, and then of course he starred in a horror film, Monster Dog, in '84, Prince of Darkness, '87.
Was Monster Dog only available in what, French?
Oh, I don't know.
I believe that movie was only available in one language, and it was French.
Huh.
So you don't even have Alice's real voice on it.
But his his most memorable movie appearance is in Wayne's World, where he played himself. Wayne's World, 1992. The phrase uttered by the characters Wayne and Garth in his presence. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. It became one of the most iconic sayings of the era there, you know.
He was also on
So
Nightmare on Elm
anyway.
Street.
Huh?
He was also on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street, right.
Really?
You know what? So I'm going to quit trying to read here, but
Not the first one. He was in
I do have some trivia here, but you guys go ahead.
he was in Nightmare on Elm Street, I believe. What was the name of it? The Final Nightmare, I think was the name of it. He played Freddy Krueger's stepdad that beat the shit out.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, that's right. That is actually in here too.
He was in that last one I saw him in was that Dark Shadows movie.
Well, this was way before that. This was like the 90s, I believe. He also did the theme song for Jason Lives, a Friday the 13th movie, which means he's the only person to be in both Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th.
Now that was the Freddy Krueger one, right?
Yep, Nightmare on Elm Street was Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm giving away the trivia answers. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. 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 Well, okay. His band made a song for a James Bond movie, The Man with the Golden Gun, and 1974. But the movie producer deemed Alice was too controversial, so they didn't use his song. They used something else. They used somebody else's song, same name. And of course, he was one of the original Hollywood vampires at the Rainbow Club on Sunset. And not I'm not talking about the band with well, Johnny Depp and them.
Depp, Tommy.
But at the Rainbow Club, the entire upstairs, which wasn't much, but it was reserved. It was private club room for the Hollywood vampires. And it was Alice Cooper, and I think Tom Petty, and Jeff Lynne, Electric Light Orchestra, and George Harrison, and Ringo would come in sometimes. And when John Lennon broke up with Yoko Ono, he would show up and come to some of the meetings. But it was just like a private clubhouse up there just for those guys, and they called themselves the Hollywood Vampires.
And also the drummer of The Who was a member too.
Yeah, no, I'm here. There was let's see, mid to late 70s, and let's see.
I'd never heard Tom Petty though was in that.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that then.
Was kind of interesting when you read Alice's book. He talks about he was partying with Jim Morrison in the 60s. It's like,
yeah. He said the Beatles would show up to his shows all the time.
Robbie Krieger, amazing. And
Alice was an avid golfer, participated in several celebrity tournaments. He also received 2 honorary doctorates. One doctorate of the performing arts from Grand Canyon University, Phoenix, Arizona, in 2004, and another one, doctor of music degree from the Musicians Institute in Los Angeles in 2012.
Oh, when I heard he had a doctorate, I thought he was going to check my rash.
Well, also, when they tore down the old Hollywood sign and they were going to put a new one up, they were auctioning off the letters of the old one because it was so iconic. And Hugh Hefner bought the H, and these things were being auctioned off for, let's see, let me find the amount here, because I mean it was a lot of money. $28,000 per letter. Okay. Like I said, Hugh Hefner bought the H, the Warner Brothers bought the W, Alice bought the O.
What is this, Jeopardy?
And you say, oh, why the O for Alice Cooper? But it was in memory of the late Groucho Marx, with whom he had a very good friendship.
Right.
What is this, Wheel of Fortune? I want to buy a vowel.
I want to buy.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, and of course, everybody heard the story. 1970, a fan threw a live chicken on stage, and Cooper, being from Detroit, didn't know anything about farm animals, so he assumed the chicken had wings. He would be able to fly, so he grabbed it, tossed it in the air, thinking it would fly out of the stadium. In fact, it went straight down into the crowd, which ripped it to pieces. The parts were thrown back on stage, and the headlines later claimed that Alice Cooper bit the head off the animal and drank its blood. Frank Zappa later advised Cooper not to tell the real story.
That was actually Colonel Sanders that did that.
He said, "Don't tell the real story because everybody loves the fake story." So
Yeah,
anyway,
don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, is what Alice always says.
So his daughter Calico Cooper has been touring with him. I wonder if she'll be at the one I'm going to, as one of the dancers and actors in the show.
She
Calico
might be
Cooper?
there because sometimes her and her mom switch out for being Nurse Rosetta. Sometimes it's very
Oh,
rare.
did they switch out?
Dash used to be the executioner, but he don't do the shows anymore, I don't think.
Now, who is this? His son?
His son
Okay.
doesn't do the tours anymore, from my understanding, because he has his own band now.
She's
Let me
got
see.
a
They
band.
did something. They
Yeah,
did something.
Visto Blanco.
He went out on a limb to get his first record deal, almost to the point of getting himself and his band tossed in jail. While discovering where Frank Zappa lived, he and the band set up their instruments, audio equipment right in Zappa's yard and began to perform. Zappa soon came out of the house in a rage. Cooper told him that he and his band would continue playing until Zappa did one of two things: either give them a record deal or call the police. Zappa saw fit to do the former. Okay.
What are you reading?
Huh?
What are you reading?
I'm reading trivia, Alice
Oh.
Cooper trivia.
Oh, I thought you had it up online.
No. Okay. His favorite songs are 19th Nervous Breakdown by the Rolling Stones, Turning Japanese by the Vapors, My Sharona by the Knack, My Sharona, Beds Are Burning by Midnight Oil, My Generation by The Who, Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses, Rebel Rebel, David Bowie, Over, Under, Sideways Down by the Yardbirds, Are You Gonna Be My Girl by Jet, Hard Day's Night by the Beatles, and Tracks of My Tears.
If I'm not mistaken,
Tracks of My Tears, I think that was Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. At least
I'm not-
one of the ones that did it.
if I'm not mistaken, Alice's favorite band is the Yardbirds, and his favorite guitarist was Jeff Beck.
You know, I love the Yardbirds. I have 4 or 5 Yardbirds albums, you know, and I've got them with Beck and Jimmy Page both on them and stuff like that. And of course, Eric Clapton played before them. That was the last band Jimmy Page played with before he branded himself and his new band, the New Yardbirds, to go fulfill Scandinavian tour dates as the New Yardbirds. Then when they came back, they switched their name to Led Zeppelin, which was offered up to him by the drummer from the Who.
Keith Moon.
Yeah, him and Entwistle, the bass player, heard that they formed this band, which wound up being the original Led Zeppelin lineup. But they went down to the studio to see how the lads were doing. They were down there, practicing, laying down some tracks and shit. And they started it was just all lighthearted banter. Well, this ought to go down like a Led Zeppelin. This ought to go down like a Lead Balloon. And it just kind of went back and forth. And they both claimed credit, Entwistle and God, I never think of his name. Entwistle and
Keith Moon.
Keith Moon. They both claim that they came up with Led Zeppelin, So anyway, when they got back from their tour, they rebranded themselves as Led Zeppelin. Hired Peter Grant, went to New York, and got a record deal after they'd put all their music on tape already, because they didn't want to have to. They wanted to be able to control all that and not have to get so much money, not to give so much money away. They already made all the songs, And so they went over there. Anyway, let's get away from it.
Do you think the band would have seen the same success under the New Yardbirds name? Like Stairway to Heaven by the New Yardbirds?
No, I don't think so. No. No, I think they had to make that radical change,
Because I don't think
seriously. I mean, but they put that first album, Led Zeppelin, together something between 30 and 35 hours, and when you listen to it, you understand why. Because I've got the album, The New Yardbirds, and they were doing half the songs out on tour before they made Led Zeppelin 1. You know?
Dazed and Confused was in their set list before.
Yeah,
I forget
right.
who was, but somebody wasn't in the band yet. It was only like two of the people that's was currently in Led Zeppelin that wrote Dazed and Confused. They were touring it under the Yardbirds name, and then they changed it to New Yardbirds because that was before Robert Plant was even in the band. They had a different singer on Dazed and Confused, the original. It was a Yardbirds song.
I did not know that. Are you sure?
Yeah, Jimmy Page wrote it, and the Yardbirds.
I know they offered Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones offered the job of singer to Terry Reid, an English singer, and he turned it down because he had some stuff he was already doing. And there might have been a couple more, but Terry Reid recommended Robert Plant. You got to go hear this guy sing, and he looks like an Adonis or something like that. He described him as, you know.
Yeah, the original Dazed and Confused was released in 1967 under the Yardbirds name. Before Robert Plant was in the band. It was a demo, though. It didn't get actually released until Led Zeppelin.
Right.
Yeah, until they started blowing up.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So the interesting mix of his favorite songs here, you know. He was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for recording at 7000 Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood in 2003. He's the godfather of Megadeth's frontman Dave Mustaine. Did you know that?
You know what's crazy about the Walk of Fame?
No.
They vote to see if you're eligible for it, and then you have to pay for it. Everyone on the Walk of Fame has to pay yearly to stay on the Walk of Fame.
I didn't know that.
I think it's $5,000 to get your name put on it or something like that.
You have to pay dues.
I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, you have to pay to apply, and then they can deny or approve you, and then you pay to have it put in.
Okay. Who was it? Was it Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame that got defaced?
Yeah, he quit paying for it, so they removed it.
Okay.
From what I heard.
Somebody put dog shit all over it too, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well, I do
not appreciate that. Okay.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I was surprised when he came out a couple of days ago. Was praising Putin.
I wasn't.
Huh?
I wasn't surprised. He was wanting Russia to bomb Ukraine his whole damn presidency. I'm not surprised. He started this shit.
Well, it had to do with Biden's son working for a big company there, and he was trying to pressure Zelensky to say that there was something crooked going on there and all that stuff.
Right.
It's just mind-boggling.
It's pretty fishy.
Yeah. So, like in 2015, Alice Cooper and Aerosmith's guitarist Joe Perry and Johnny Depp formed the Hollywood Vampires. And it was derived from the Hollywood Vampires, a celebrity drinking club. This is what I was looking for earlier. That was formed in the 70s by Alice, included John Lennon, Ringo Starr, other members of the Beatles, Keith Moon of The Who, and others came and went. I know.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Royce, but when the Hollywood Vampires first formed, honorable mention, Duff McKagan was the bassist.
Oh, okay.
He was on their first album and was touring with them. He was actually considered a member of the touring band, but he left.
Oh, I see.
And it was also I forget who Matt Sorum was their drummer.
Oh yeah, he came in right after Adler, right? He was the next drummer after Adler, or was there somebody in between?
No, it was Adler. I'm sorry, wrong drummer of Guns N' Roses. It was Adler. Adler played drums for him.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, original drummer. They had basically Hollywood Vampires was like two members of Guns N' Roses, Joe Perry of Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, and Johnny Depp. It was like a big super group, but a lot of the members left.
Right. Yeah. I've never made fun of religion. Religion is something I don't even want to mess with because I'm really afraid of the clouds opening up and me being struck by lightning. Satanism is something else I don't mess with. So, Satan is something else I don't mess with. I think that the heavy metal bands that do are playing with fire. I have never influenced people in a negative way, and I'm not about to start now. The hippies wanted peace and love. We, the original Alice Cooper band, wanted Ferraris, blondes, and switchblades. Regarding rock artists involved in the two, what was the attraction of switchblades? When we were kids, switchblades were like the holy grail. And even to this day, when I go to Mexico, and you walk in the little places that sell all the shit, and there's switchblades all the way across the black glass counter. There's just like this impulsive thing. I want to buy a switchblade, and I don't own any, but it was like switchblades and fireworks when you went to Mexico, But we were talking about concerts earlier. I failed to mention that I used to ride my Harley Davidson every year on the Laughlin River run to Laughlin, Nevada, on the Colorado River, which is about an hour's drive from Vegas, and a fun little destination. But I mean, like, several 100,000 bikes would show up every April the Laughlin River run. It would start on a Wednesday and ended on Sunday. And most of the parking lots would be full of bikes, but there'd be like stages set up for concerts and stuff. And I saw ZZ Top there. And that was a really good show. Just an amazing amount of music coming out of three guys, let me tell you. And all good, too. And I saw, the following year, I saw the Black Crowes, front row seats. My buddy was kind of a high roller on the slot machines, and so they gave him anything he wanted, And so we had front row seats, and he was sitting on the edge where the center aisle was, and all these crazy dancers. I always call them Woodstock dancers, because everybody at Woodstock was high on LSD and stuff and dancing all goofy. So we had all these Woodstock dancers with like, a beer in each hand, dancing right over Dave, who's sitting on the end. He had beer spilled on him 3 or 4 times, And he went and got security, and they made these guys go sit down. And 20 minutes later, they were back spilling beer on Dave. And he got up and just stomped out. So I sat there and watched the concert by myself. Anyway, so that was a couple of concerts I saw in Laughlin.
Hey,
Let's see, what else do I have here?
Hey, Royce, I got to get going, buddy.
Okay, you know what? I think we're kind of ready to close now. I was just reading a little bit of trivia and messing around.
Oh, you can continue. I just got to get going.
No, that's okay. All right. Thank you for showing up.
No problem, buddy. I'll see you.
See you, man. Enjoyed it. Okay. All right. Hey, Caitlin. If you want to.
Caitlin, get in here.
Just hit that link I just put up if you want to pop on. So anyway, I'm kind of done with the Alice Cooper trivia. I just thought I'd read a little bit of it. It's almost more interesting. We're all just ad-libbing and bullshitting.
Caitlin can come on and tell you about Mickey Dolenz being a Hollywood vampire.
Mickey Dolenz was?
Mm-hmm.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, he was one of them.
I had no idea. Caitlin's a huge fan. She had some guy on her Caitlin's Corner show just recently.
I started to say, come in. If I'm wrong, Caitlin, come tell me. But I believe
And this guy he'd played with the Monkees. And, Caitlin and I had a bet, and I still got to make good on it, because I hate to back out. But the bet was I had to come on her show. If the 49ers lost to the Rams, I had to come on her show and sing whatever Monkees show she wants me to sing, and vice versa. So I lost, and she picked The Last Train to Clarksville for me, And so I got to learn all the words and go sing it. But I told her I was going to sing it in character. I was going to come on like as Jimmy Durante, take the last train to Clarksville, and sing it like that or something. You know what I mean? I don't know if she was too happy with that. Well, here we'll let her speak for herself. Hey, Caitlin.
Hey, what's up? Hey guys. Hey Scott. Good to see you, man.
How you doing?
Hey Jeff. That's okay. I'm not gonna yell at you, Jeff. I promise. I'm gonna yell at you.
Okay, now Jeff was just talking about Mickey Dolenz. He might know something about Mickey Dolenz you don't.
Something about him. All I know is I shared this with Jeff. I'm gonna tell you guys. Did you know that Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees actually starred in Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie?
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah, I told Jeff about that. I was telling you about Jeff. I was telling you about that on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, he played it's funny. I saw this movie in theaters, and yeah, now I'm recalling it. Like, how can I miss that? But yeah, Dolenz played a gun store owner. So I mean, he was like a redneck gun store owner. So
in the Halloween flick.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie he starred in. He sold a gun to, one of the detectives.
Huh.
So, but he was redneck. And, I saw the movie in theaters, so I'm trying to figure out how in the world did I miss that?
He had on a lot of makeup, maybe.
Yeah, he also had tattoos.
Yeah, Rob Zombie, he's quite a character. I mean, he made all those horror movies and stuff. Is he still performs with his band, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, I just saw him in Oklahoma last September.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see him sometime. Was that a good concert?
I hate his movies. But his concerts are amazing.
Oh, okay.
No, after
so much fun.
Halloween,
That would be cool.
Watching Rob Zombie's version of Halloween, that kind of gave me nightmares.
There's a
right.
Oklahoma. I got front row seats, and then there's a pit in front of me, right? And there's people standing in that pit. It wasn't this last year I saw him. It was probably about 5 years ago. When he's been at Rocklahoma like 4 or 5 times. He's a favorite there.
I guess so.
One year he got down in that pit, and everybody's like, "Where the fuck is he?" And I look right there, and he's looking at me like this. Right up on the wall, and I'm like, "Whoa!" It scared the shit out of me. It's like Charles Manson looking right at you or something. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
That's great.
He got all those dreads and makeup.
I'm jealous, Jeff. I really am. That would have been cool.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see him in concert.
I was share with you guys.
It was a moment to remember.
No doubt, for sure.
Yeah.
I had an Alice Cooper moment, believe it or not, back in my community college days. I still listen to it, but not as much because I've been busy. But I heavily listened to his Nights with Alice Cooper radio show. And I tweeted him. I was complaining. I don't know why, but I'm like complaining about, I don't know, whatever, Clowns Week. Who doesn't complain about that? What student doesn't? And, I was telling him, I'm struggling and your music helps. He actually tweets me back. And he says, well, stay in school so that way you have a reason to sing School's Out.
School's Out, right.
Yeah, and he actually, I told him I was graduating from the community college in 2017, and he actually asked to see a photo of me in my cap and gown. So I actually sent that.
Right. Huh.
I'm not making that either. That was huge, though. I mean, and there's a couple of times, too, where I took like these late, like summer classes. I was studying late, and Alice is live, and I'm going through these vicious vocabulary words. Never take art history, ever. And and I admired it, but it wasn't my shindig. But then he goes, well, this song goes out to all the people who are studying late. And it goes out. So I was like, I think it's cool that he can connect to fans in ways. And I think that's something I felt special to my heart. He seems like a very nice, genuine person. And what I also like about him, too, is that he, as you guys know, he's a Christian. And so I love just how he speaks about it. He's not afraid to talk about it. It's like I've seen a lot of interviews with him talk about his faith, and it's really amazing just to hear him talk about it.
Right. I think he is a genuine person.
Yeah.
So
I can see that, especially him.
It's great. I tell you what, though, my dad he doesn't listen to Alice Cooper. He's aware of it, but he still calls him a freak. I'm like, okay. Like, okay. Look. It's like, okay, I can understand why you might think he's a freak, but he's really not. He's actually like the coolest dude.
He's pretty normal now compared to some of these weirdos.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, I should just
Times have changed.
Look at Rob Zombie, get back to me, but you know. Well, I like Rob. I'm nothing against him. I think he's genius, personally. So
I like his music and his concerts, but
yeah,
I haven't liked any of his movies.
I had nightmares after that first Halloween movie. I had so much nightmares. I am not kidding. He did a great job. And I told myself, never again.
I like him as a filmmaker, but I don't like his remakes. It's like sort of similar to Tim Burton. I don't like his remakes. I think the original stuff that he does is great. But, you know, yeah, I saw White Zombie and Rob Zombie a bunch of times. Yeah, I'm a fan. I like him. But I mean, I like House of a Thousand Corpses and that whole like trilogy thing. Yeah. I thought that was great. And you know, a couple other movies that he did that are originals I like too. But definitely not a Halloween fan of his you know remake of that. And you know, same thing with Tim Burton, like the Planet of the Apes. I'm a huge Planet of the Apes original fan. I don't like the remakes at all. You know, I don't know. I think a lot of remakes in general are just, you know, cash grab, you know, for.
You like the new trilogy?
Well, for sure. Yeah.
Did you like the new trilogy?
The new Planet of the Apes trilogy?
Did you like that?
No, not really. I mean, like I'm like I'm a fan of the original 5 movies, you know, the TV series and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff that I grew up with or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. You know, it's a different type of filmmaking, you know, I think, and storytelling too. And I don't know. I liked more of the more sci-fi and psychological kind of delve into the whole end of the world thing and everything. You know, like I don't know. I think some movies that are remakes are a little too high tech, honestly. The new too CGI and well, I mean, I'm a big fan of like silent horror and you know, Universal horror, Hammer horror, you know, things like that. You know, things that are of classic things. Like I like a lot. I watch a lot of black and white movies. You know, I'm not really.
Have you seen the movie Malignant? Have you seen that yet?
I think he's frozen.
Scott.
I think Scott's frozen.
I think we lost Scott.
Yeah, he looks like he is frozen.
That's okay. He'll be back.
Yeah.
He'll be
back.
Well,
you know, I watched a lot of black and white movies as a kid. You know.
Okay. Oh, good.
In the 60s and stuff.
Have you seen that? Have you seen Malignant, Scott?
No.
I just ordered that. I heard it was really good, so I was just curious. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I have, you know, Shudder, and I watch Shudder a lot. Yeah. So, you know, there's always new stuff that's on there, new horror. So, yeah, I mean, I like to delve into it a little bit here and there, but I'm always going back to watching, you know, Universal and silent stuff. I mean, like Nosferatu and Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and you know, the original Hammer stuff and things like that, things from the 70s. I'm a big 70s horror fan. I love, you know, low budget horror stuff, you know, Dan Curtis.
Scott.
Okay, Jeff, maybe you can explain this to me. You know, when I caught the Delta variant, I don't know, about 2 weeks before last Halloween, which I don't recommend anytime soon. Catching that, that's evil. But my question is, what's the point of all the Freddy Krueger movies? I watched all of them. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean,
I don't know.
Just to scare you, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's got to be the whole thing. Just scare you. I mean, I don't get the point of a lot of them.
You know, like,
cool. I guess it's supposed to be like this a nightmare come to life, you know.
When I was a kid, we had Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I love that.
Godzilla, King Kong.
Yeah. It's like I never.
I mean, there were some good ones like the House of Usher and we had Bela Lugosi Lugosi and all those great, Draculas and Frankensteins, and that probably kind of corny to watch today, but they were good. They were good horror movies.
I like them. I still watch them. I've got them all on Blu-ray.
Oh, do you? Oh, good.
I just watched a Creature the other night.
Yeah. Godzilla versus Mothra, Godzilla versus King Kong.
You all get Me TV? I never watched Svengoolie.
No.
You know what that is?
No.
He's like he's a horror host. He dressed up like a ghoul. He calls himself Svengoolie. And it's on Me TV. They show like usually old television shows.
Yeah, okay. I know what
that is. Yeah.
And on Saturday nights it's Svengoolie, and then he always has some kind of old B horror movie. It's just a lot of fun. I watched that a lot.
Scott's up twice. Let me see if I can get.
He's frozen. He's real.
I'm going to try to remove. Okay, good.
So I just got The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Did you?
The 3 movies on Blu-ray. So I've been watching that actually last week, and
those were scary.
What did you think, Scott? What did you think of Shape of Water? Have you seen that?
No, a lot of new stuff I haven't seen. I know what you mean, though.
Yeah,
well, check it out. I think you might like it. I mean, it's a creature type monster, but they get a little bit more intimate, let's say, with the female in the lead. It's a good creature feature, I thought. It was Best Picture, I think. Best Picture, Best Director, or something like that.
Really? Yeah. Cool.
Gino, Deep Purple engineers couldn't get the volume right. Deep Purple engineers couldn't. You guys know anything about this? Gino saying that Deep Purple, the engineer couldn't get the volume right. It was terrible.
No.
Huh.
For what? Was it a concert?
I'm not sure. Let me ask you, Gino, are you talking about a concert?
Oh, I see what you're saying there.
Okay. Let's see. Maybe there's a clue up above. Okay. Well, he might answer in a second here, but Deep Purple, the engineers couldn't get the volume right. It was terrible. I assume he's talking about a concert.
I didn't even.
Deep Purple fans here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't turn them off if they come on.
I don't mind it, especially because my mom.
I can handle them. I don't know if I consider myself a fan.
My mom loves Deep Purple. So.
Wow. Hey, you know what, guys? Go ahead.
Was you watching Freddy Krueger movies this weekend, Caitlin?
This week? No. I was just bored. That's how I ended up watching them. Because I was like COVID protocol because I caught the variant. So
that week you watched them?
Yeah, that's where I just watched them. Like I couldn't do anything for 2 weeks. So it's like hide behind the COVID curtain and
Hey, well, listen. I want to thank everybody, Scott, Caitlin, Jeff. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Caitlin, you were in the chat for a long time, and Adam D, and Bill K, and Gino's in here right now, and Antonio's in here. I want to thank everybody for showing up. We really, really appreciate you. But I'm gonna have to cut it off now. We've been going for a couple of hours, and I thought we had a really fun show tonight. Rachel popped in. That was a surprise guest. That was kind of interesting,
I like her.
She does her show twice a day, and it runs 2 or 3 hours both times. It's like all day. I mean, every day. I think maybe not the weekends, but maybe Saturday. I mean,
What's her show about?
Huh?
What's her show about?
Music. She
does music.
CDs, albums, but they just talk a lot too. They're not unboxing albums all day and stuff like that. They just talk about music, and they all have big libraries. I don't know if anybody's got one as big as yours back there,
No,
but Yeah,
Never
they talk
thought
about
they'd
music, and
fight.
they get off into other things too. And she's usually got 5 or 6 people on with her, and it's kind of fun. I've gotten to know several of the people there. I can't catch it every day because it's really on when I'm working. when I'm working, let me put it that way. But been a little slow lately. I've been spending a lot of time at home. But anyway, I got a couple of jobs, government kind of jobs coming up here. One with the Housing Authority and one with Salvation Army, believe it or not, and some other things coming up. So anyway, we're about to get real busy and not have a whole lot of time during the day to watch anybody's show because we'll be working. But anyway, so it's hard for me to catch the early stuff, most of the time I'm working, and once in a while, if it's something that I feel like I have to hear, I might turn my phone on at work, but I can't, I'm moving around too much, it's hard to get,
You can't watch it like that.
you just can't concentrate on it and work at the same time sometimes,
That's awesome.
But anyway, I want to thank everybody and do this again really soon. It's always fun.
Absolutely.
And you guys are great hosts. I mean, thank you very much. Really appreciate all of you.
It's great
All
seeing
right.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
You guys
Bye.
Bye.
have a good night.